Let me, on behalf of the directors of Flex Night Incorporated, say welcome to the persons from the Ghana prisons, the officers from the Ghana prisons, the senior staff of Demerara Mutual Life Assurance, and the other directors of Flex Night, and then representatives of the media who are here. The principals for this morning will be myself as Managing Director of Flex Night, the CEO of Demerara Mutual Life Assurance Society Limited, Mr. Keith Chumley. To my right, the Director of the Ghana Prisons, Mr. Dale Erskine. To Mr. Erskine's right, we have Mr. Carl Graham, who is the officer in charge of the Georgetown prisons. And to Mr. Chumley's left, we have Mr. Trotz, who is the Deputy Director of the Ghana prisons. Going further left, we have Diane Sinclair, a Director in Flex Night. David Gomes, another Director responsible for external resources. Mr. Morgan, the Company Secretary, and Mr. Claude Housty, Marketing Coordinator. So, with those words of introduction, I will, representing Flex Night, having given the welcome, I'm going to explain very briefly the background to this project and what developments we can look forward to within the next few months. Now, this whole project started basically with a letter that I took to Mr. Erskine last year, October, asking him if he would kindly allow 20 inmates and staff of the Ghana prisons to see the Flex Night International event, which was on December the 8th last year. Mr. Erskine very kindly agreed, and those tickets were offered compliments of Demerara Mutual Life Assurance Society Limited. Mr. Erskine just hinted at that time that this initiative was coming at the right time. Later, we understood what right time meant. That within the ranks of the Guyana Prison Service, and of course within the Ministry of Home Affairs, there was this initiative in train to change the way business is done in the Guyana prisons. And I think the theme that was chosen was moving from retribution to correction. So when we learned that, we understood why Mr. Erskine at the time said that this request, this initiative was coming at the right time, because it was tying in and dovetailing nicely with some thinking that was taking place within the Ministry of Home Affairs. So after that, several things happened. Demerara Mutual Life Assurance bought the tickets, they were handed over. Between Mr. Trotz and Mr. Graham organized for the inmates to see the Flex Night on December the 8th. After that, there were several conversations. We spoke with the authorities of the prison about the whole initiative to establish a gym in the prison. Flex Night directors visited the Georgetown prison twice. The first time to identify an appropriate location for the gym, and the second time was to prepare a proposal which we had elaborated about the gym itself, what equipment would be there, and the management system that we would recommend. Because Flex Night, in collaboration with Demerara Mutual, is not only concerned to source some equipment and leave it in the prison. No, we want to leave a management system. And this management system, of course, would involve training, because inmates and staff would need to be trained. Some of them already have gym experience, but they need to be trained not only as trainers who will train their clients, but they also need to be trained in terms of managing the facility. So this training will be done by the directors of Flex Night over the next 2 months. So a proposal was presented to the prison authorities for their consideration. They accepted it, and they took it to the Ministry of Home Affairs to receive the approval of the Minister of Home Affairs. That approval came, so the next step was to have a discussion with the CEO of Demerara Mutual Life Assurance Limited, which was the body interested in funding the equipment for this initiative. That was done, and there was approval all around, which takes us to where we are this morning, where we're now here to sign a memorandum of understanding for the establishment of this gym in the prison. Now, after I speak, the CEO of Demerara Mutual will talk about the role of this company in this whole process, and afterwards the director of the prisons, Mr. Dale Erskine, is going to tell us something about this whole project from the perspective of the Ghana Prison Service. So this is the project from the Flex Night standpoint. It really is in fulfillment of our own mission of heightening awareness about the benefits of health and fitness, and also promoting a commitment to the pursuit of the healthy lifestyle. And initiative that involves partnerships. And FlexNight is very happy to know that we have a partner in Demerara Mutual that we're very comfortable with. Demerara Mutual has been very supportive of this venture, which, as I said, is fully in keeping with the mission of FlexNight Incorporated. With those few words, I want to hand over to Mr. Keith Chumley, the CEO of Demerara Mutual, who will talk about the role of the company in this venture.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know that I'm going to be able to speak a great of a good friend of mine, right? But one of the things that encouraged us to be part of this is principally because we've always wanted to be associated with something that returns to the society and improves the well-being of persons in the society. The prisons became attractive because I don't think my first statement to the prison officers that we met was that you don't hear anything good out of the prison. Usually bad people go there, you lock them up or you throw away the key. But in fact, there are several things that are happening within the prison community that are very positive. I mean, I don't know if the public knows that they have a few boxing champions. They've had boxers who have traveled. There's a good, well, we won't call it a gym, but certainly there are several educational programs, there are several physical programs which take place in the prison. There's many programs for rehabilitation of prisoners, which I only became aware of when I started to speak with them. And I think the thing about it is that we know that if they have 100,000 prisoners, which I don't think they have, I'm just using a word, a number, there's going to be a very small percentage that will come out of the prison service and return to society and attempt to be good citizens. The challenge they have, of course, is that the society doesn't think that they're going to be good. So that it's an onerous task, in my view, for someone who comes out of that experience to really immediately slip into the normal life again. So it is a very challenging task, but I think that if the prisoners are able to live a reasonably the type of life which balances it to some degree, it won't be completely balanced, but I think if they see activities taking place where they can express themselves, where they can grow, where they could focus, where they could have objectives. It will help them when they get out to be stronger persons to withstand some of the negatives that are out there. It is not a process, it's not an involvement from Demerara life which has to do with a gym. Because you could find money somehow, fix the equipment in the gym and say goodbye. I think that we would like to be part of a process which continues, and we expect that this first experience will go well, and we will end up having a long-term relationship with the prison service, so that over time we'll be able to extend it. I almost said, even think about some of those prisoners who are reasonably well rehabilitated, you consider for employment. But I mean, there's no reason why, if the prison service says, look, Mr. A or Ms. Y has gone through these several programs, educational, maybe even running a gym, that they aren't able to work. There's no reason why that shouldn't be. And I certainly don't believe that the prison produces criminals after they come out. I mean, I don't think so. I think some percent of the persons who come out of the prison system have been not rehabilitated, but have understood why they should not have been in the prison and would like to contribute. But many of us don't give them an opportunity to do that. I hope over the years we will be able to identify persons who we can see are examples of that. And I think the environment life wants to be associated with that kind of effort and experience. Thank you very much.
Morning once again, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to congratulate the Flex Night Corporation for this very bold move which you have undertaken. I think it helped advance the objective in terms of fitness of individuals and keeping people healthy. This boldness, I think, was driven by the passion that Mr. Donald Sinclair has in terms of bodybuilding and seeing fit persons in society. I must say that it was not one which was instigated by the prison service. It came out of the blue, and it was kind of strange when Donald came that day and asked me for this sort of request. But I recognized the value in it, and I said, listen, why not? Why not give it a chance? From there, a good relationship began between the Flex Night and the Ghana Prison Service. Now the fact that this gym is coming to play, there are significant things to know. Number one, the manner in which it is approached, the professional manner, the structured manner in which it is established will be established. Not just putting equipment into the prison system, but ensure it is well cared for, it is well managed, with a very structured approach, and by a professional body who is well recognized in the community. And that says a lot. When you just don't want to put things, you just don't want to see things going to such an extent for continuation and sustenance. So Donald, to you and Flex Night, I think this is a great bold move, and I'm very appreciative of it. I don't think there's enough words to commend you for this very bold move. The fact you're able to gain a good partner, Mr. T. Chomley and Demerara Richard, shows that the corporate responsibility of this reputable also insurance agency. I'm here again as the Demerara step out. Step out in a way in which I hope we will attract other persons, other corporate members of society who want to contribute to the business system. There's so much to do. We have a captive audience, so to speak. Many of them come from our very homes, relative friends, community members, and 99% of them return to society. Sometimes some are misfortune, some of them are hardcore criminals. Nevertheless, they're human beings. You have every right and every responsibility to treat them like human beings when they're incarcerated, despite prison has its own trappings in terms of some hardships. And when projects like this come into play, it represents a sort of a humane approach for them to recognize that they're not alone in this whole game. That a person out there who are willing to make a contribution into the prison system, and because of the structure which you would put into this whole project, they will want to see and emulate it. So you just want to give them skills in terms of bodybuilding, giving them fit. But the attitude they will develop, because this is a discipline sport. They develop the muscles and be fit, discipline, get up in the morning, follow the routines like that. And we hope that this sort of skills will be transformed into corporate life. This is what we're hoping for. That's why these things, if they're very well replicated in the prison system, allow them to develop this attitude of success, attitude of wanting to be better. And we hope that this project will be able to give them this sort of attitude and skills as human beings, and to allow other persons who want to use our gym to adopt the same attitude. It comes at the right time, McDonald rightly said it now. We're moving, or we're in the mode of corrections. In correction mode, we expect that the Ghana Prison Service will be far more comfortable in terms of its stewardship to the persons who are incarcerated. That resources given to us are well accounted. At the end of the day, we can give account that these persons who are incarcerated, they are treated humanely and we give them an opportunity to return to society as usual citizens. He did talk about persons going back to society. Maybe some as criminals, most of them, we want to return as good citizens. The only way this is done is if everyone chip in. Prison provides service to the community. So every community member, organizations have a role to ensure that they make a contribution, tangible and intangible, to ensure our prisoners are treated in a manner that give them some sense of esteem. Many of prisoners in jail sometimes feel a lack of esteem, lack of skills, and if they feel the community is against them, and the state is against them, and people against them, they will just turn against the state. So we've got to change this mindset by being showing them we will want to contribute. We want to do things for them within the prison. And this project definitely will make that impact. I'm sure the prisoners will be very elated to be a part of this, the officers themselves. And here again, the officers seeing such a project within the prison now, they themselves, I expect them to motivate them to be far better officers, far better corporate citizens, be able to account for resources given to them, and be responsible public servants to ensure that the resources given to us could be accounted for in a meaningful way, and the most important is results to what we're doing. We're not doing this just for cosmetic, but you want to see results. And you rightly said at the end of the year, it's a 3-year project. First year you evaluate to see where we went, what we have done, how many prisoners maybe we could probably, when they come out, probably go to some competition and develop themselves and start a life that will probably go out of this venture. So all in all, the Ghana Prison Service is extremely, extremely happy with this project. The Ministry of Home Affairs has endorsed this project, and they are behind us 100% to ensure that things in the prison is not the same. There's a new thinking, there's a whole new process in which we will have to adapt to ensure we gain the confidence of the community. The role played by DMR Mutual is indeed confidence role. We feel kind of elated knowing that here is an agency we have never made contact with before, willing to go to do this. It's a sense of good feeling to know there's some agency who are willing to do this. So, Mr. Chomley, to you and your company, we want to express our sincere gratitude. We feel very elated, we feel very happy. We trust that the relationship to ensue out to this first project will be an enduring one, sustained one, and you yourself will feel confident and happy that you will make this first move for the Ghana Prison Service. We promise that we will do our best to ensure resources given to us are managed in a professional manner, and most of all the results are shown in society in a very tangible way. Flex Night once again, can't thank you enough, Donald, for this great initiative. The purposeful way in which you go out this whole exercise, very professional, very structured, and we're happy to be associated with these two good organizations to make the prison service a little more recognized, a little more acceptable, and most of all, the inmates have an opportunity to have good recreation, purposeful recreation, so that they get some sense of good skills and values as they return to society, to their families and friends. Thank you very much for the opportunity for this brief remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Director Erskine. At this point, we can turn the proceedings over to the members of the media. If you have any questions to ask, you have heard quite a lot. You must be curious about some things. So If there are any questions you'd like to ask us?
How soon these equipment will be in place?
Very good question. In fact, I realized that I omitted to mention our time frame. We are hoping for a late June startup, commissioning of the facility late in the month of June. Because the next 2 months are going to be given over to sourcing the equipment, of course, purchasing the equipment, installation. I should mention that I believe that the area is already capped. The area in the prison, yes. After we visited the site, one of the recommendations was that in preparation for equipment being put, that the concrete be capped. That has been done. And the role of the prison service, they will be identifying the management team. Okay, the core of persons who will be the managers of the facilities, so to speak. Because as both Mr. Chumley and Director Erskine said, management skills are involved. Not just persons lifting weights and going to sleep at night. It's a learning process. We are imparting skills. Okay. The questions that we will now have the signing, the